Well, the families of 3 miners buried underground at Lily Mine in Barberton, Mpumalanga, are still waiting for closure. Just yesterday marked 1,000 days since they set up camp outside the mine.
Now, they say they'll stay there as well until the bodies are retrieved. To take you back to the 5th of February 2016, the 3 miners were working in a container called the Lamp Room. The mine then collapsed, trapping Priti Nkambule, Yvonne Imnisi and Solomon Inyarende down at the bottom of their mine.
Yeah, the bodies have not been recovered due to safety concerns, and eNCA's Siphamandla Goge reports.
Seeking divine intervention after years of waiting and suffering, family of the trio that remains underground at Lily Mine say this unresolved tragedy continues to take a toll on them, but they have vowed not to give up.
We are not going to live here up until we get our loved ones, dead or alive. We are not going to live here. We are more than prepared to stay another 5 years up until we get our loved ones. Then when we find our loved ones, then we will pack our bags and go home.
They say all they want is closure.
We even feel like we are not part of South Africa. When we are born citizens of this country, we feel like isolated and devastated in any way. We are distressed and we are broken.
Mineral Resources and Energy Minister Kwere Mantashe says it's up to the mine management to retrieve the container with the 3 employees in it.
I don't know what kind of support from the department that they expected. We should know the expected support. But we're working, trying to get investors in that mine because a sustainable project to retrieve that box in the mine should be linked to investment to the mine. That is what we're investing our time on because it's a disaster of a private entity. So we've seen many of those disasters of private entities. The state supports and it enforces. If we get an investment, we'll take that box out.
But the families and former Lily Mine workers aren't buying it.
Why the Chilean government intervene in the mining industry? This industry is regulated by the Department of Mineral Resources and Energy, of which he is the minister. So I think there is something he can do. Okay, maybe let him or our government not assist in the issue of Lily Mine, but let them tell South Africa and the world what is it that is holding a South African government to retrieve the container that is less than 70 meters. Is it a private sector has got more powers than the government?
But those who are willing to reinvest in the mine say they are willing to retrieve the container but are being frustrated by the ongoing business rescue process.
We are being prevented solely by the vantage management and the business practitioners. Nothing else. There's nothing else that are in our way. And as I've mentioned earlier on, it will take us less than a year, to develop the rapid decline, to get us to level 5, and to retrieve the container and the remains so that we can provide closure to the families.
Action SA leader Herman Mashaba has been helping the families. He says once the container is retrieved, those responsible for the tragedy and the delay in getting the remains out must be held responsible.
It is in our interest, all of us as South Africans, particularly for us as black people. We've got to take personal responsibility, individual responsibility, to ensure that that container is retrieved as soon as possible. It should not really take us another 1,000 years. I think we are responsible. Our silence, our failure to hold our government accountable is what actually has led to the families and the former miners suffering the way they've done so far.
Next weekend will mark 6 years since this tragic incident occurred, and the families say it will be a painful reminder of their continued suffering, something they hope will come to an end soon. Siphamandla Goge, Barberton, Mpumalanga.